Today on 5 Minute Mondays, you'll learn how to properly incorporate music into your podcast episodes. Welcome to 5 Minute Mondays, where we bring you the best tips and strategies for building your podcast in 5 minutes or less. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, today's episode is going to be a little different because I'm going to do a rapid fire of answers for Michael, who submitted some really fantastic questions in the 5 Minute Monday submission form. First question from Michael: is it more attractive to have theme music in your intro or not? So you can really go either way with this. When you properly execute it, podcast theme music in your intro can increase the perceived quality of your show because it sounds more like how people would think of a radio show or a television show. And so they make that correlation and think, oh, well, this person has a really great podcast. When it's executed poorly, however, it has the opposite effect. It feels slapped together. It feels amateurish. So when you incorporate theme music into your intro, you have to make sure that it sounds phenomenal. And this might mean that you outsource putting your intro together. That might be what you need to do, but you don't need it. We have podcasts that don't have intro theme music like this one. We just have a little sound effect, and you can totally do that. There's no rule here. But when you can properly execute it, podcast theme music really can increase the perceived quality of your show. Question number 2, where to get podcast theme music, either recorded for money, buy it somewhere, or any free libraries. So I'll link to a blog post in the show notes for this episode where we list a bunch of places you can find free, royalty-free music, which is the key there. It has to be royalty-free, which means you have permission to use it in your podcast without paying any kind of copyright. So I'll link to that for free music. As far as where to buy royalty-free music, tracks that are already created, the two that I recommend typically are Audio Jungle or Soundstripe. So Audio Jungle, you would search through tens of thousands of songs and pick one that you like, you buy the license, and then you use it as many times as you want. That I recommend if you're using it for intro music, because you're going to use the same track every single episode. If you're using different music in different episodes, I would recommend looking into Soundstripe, which is a subscription service where you pay $15 a month and you get unlimited music tracks. So if you're always mixing and matching or trying different things or using it in segments, things like that, then you can look at Soundstripe as a way to get royalty-free music to use in your podcast. And then as far as custom music, what I would encourage you to do is go on SoundCloud and listen to artists and find an artist that you really like and think, okay, I want them to make me a podcast intro that sounds like their style of music. And then reach out to them and say, hey, what are your rates for doing a custom song or a custom audio track? And typically you can expect to spend anywhere between $100 and $200 per song. If you use a website that specializes in podcast intro music, that can go all the way up to $300 to $400 per song. But it really just depends on your budgets and how important it is for it to be custom for you. But any of those are great options. Question number 3, are there any recommendations on type of music for it to not be annoying for listeners? So this is an interesting question because the answer will change depending on when you listen to this podcast, because music tastes definitely follow trends, right? So recently the kind of synth retro vibe has been very popular, but that won't always be the case. So the most important thing when you're choosing the type or the genre of music is that it matches the tone and personality of your show. That is much more important than anything else. So when somebody listens to the theme track, it should kind of clue them into what the podcast is going to be about, how it's going to feel when they listen to it. So that's the thing that you want to dial into. And then question number 4, should there be any music between podcast segments, or is it better to not do it? So this is something you can go either way with. I've done it both ways. A happy medium is to use what's called a stinger, and that's a 3 to 5 second contained audio track. So it's not a sound effect and it's not a song, it's kind of in between. And this is actually what we use in Buzzcast. And so in our episode, we divide our segments with a stinger that we use to kind of clue in the listener that we're changing subjects. So that's something you can do between podcast segments. But you can certainly also use music and fade it in and out to signal that change as well. So thanks for submitting those questions, Michael. I hope my answers were satisfactory and helpful. But that's it for today. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube, or subscribe to the 5 Minute Mondays podcast in your favorite app to squeeze even more podcast-related content into your life. And if there's something that you want us to talk about on a future episode, just click the link in the show notes to submit your question. Thanks for listening, and as always, keep podcasting.